Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a bit of a different video for my channel. I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I don't want to purchase. I feel like this is a video type that is pretty popular in other communities like the minimalist community and the beauty community, but I don't think very many people do this in BookTube, and I think it's interesting to see what's coming out in terms of new releases, talk about why you don't want to buy them, or, you know, just draw awareness to new things. I think the coolest part about this is that just because I am not excited about a book, you might be, and so doing this might show you some new releases that you weren't previously aware of. I do also want to make note though that I'm definitely not the first person to do this. Julie from Pages and Pens does this fairly frequently on her channel. I'm gonna leave a link to her channel down below. She does both AuthorTube and BookTube videos, and I really like her dry, blunt wit. It's just exactly what I like to watch on BookTube. So without further ado, let's get into some of the books that I'm anti-hauling, books that I won't be buying. I also thought it was kind of apt that I do this in front of my empty bookshelves. Anyway, so the first book that I have on my list, and I'm gonna be like looking down at my computer at points in this. Anyway, the first book is The Fountains of Silence by Rita Sepetys, I believe is how you say it. I'm gonna put a picture of the book right here. This book is a historical fiction YA. All of these books are YA, by the way, and it deals with fascism, the Spanish Civil War, set in 1957. Anything set between like 1940 and 1958, I'm just like not really here for. I feel like there's so many books about kind of like the World War periods, and I know this is set like after World War II, but it's definitely not a time period that I'm personally excited about. I also read a book by this author, I think in like 2013. It's called Out of the Easy, and it was set in New Orleans, which like should be exciting. That's where a lot of my family is from, and I just like wasn't here for it. I think I gave it 2 stars. And if 2013 Chan gave a book 2 stars, it's not good. I think I'm just really picky with my historical fiction, I think is the main reason that I'm not super excited for this. I think a lot of people in the community really like Rita Sepetys as a historical fiction author. I don't think she's necessarily terrible as an author. I'm not excited for this one. The next book that I have no interest in is A Treason of Thorns by Laura E. Weymouth, and the cover of this one's really pretty, but when I read the description, it reminded me a little bit of A Lesson in Thorns, and I don't know. It seemed kind of not my thing. It says, Violet Sterling has spent the last 7 years in exile. She longs to return to Burleigh House, one of the 6 great houses of England. Her magic has always kept the countryside alive and well. Nothing about that really excites me. And one of my friends got an arc of this, not like a personal friend, but someone that I'm friends with on Goodreads, said that the synopsis is the best part of this book. And since the synopsis really interests me not at all, I don't think this is going to be a book that I'm really here for. It seems like one of those things that's going to be overly flowery and not heavy enough on like world building or plot. I could be wrong. Maybe this is amazing, but I don't think this one's for me. The next one is Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee. I'm sure this is great. I just really don't understand the superhero retellings. The one that Sarah J. Maas did, there's also like a Batman one, I think. I understand that you're trying to appeal to YA demographics, which have been watching like all of the Marvel movies lately, but it just seems so uninventive. Like we keep getting superhero, everybody complains that we keep doing the same movies and stuff over and over again. I feel like the books have been so similar lately in the YA community. There's no new idea under the sun, right? But oh god, do we really need superhero books when we already have superhero movies? No. So the next book is kind of complicated. It is The Lady Rogue by Jen Bennett, and the synopsis says this one is a Vlad the Impaler retelling. That's a red flag for me because I tried to read another Vlad the Impaler retelling by Kirsten White, and I really did not like that one. It was like a gender bent one. It's her, what is it? I'll put a picture right here. I can't think of the name of the series. And I think another red flag for me is that Jen Bennett writes a lot of young adult contemporary fiction, and this is going to be her first foray into fantasy or like historical fiction. And I have had bad experiences with authors trying to go from contemporary to fantasy. Best example of this is Bridget Kemmerer. I gave A Curse of Dark and Lonely 2 stars. She is known for her contemporary fiction. She decided to go into fantasy, and I was really excited about it. I just don't know that I trust contemporary authors to do fantasy. I might pick this one up at some point because I did like another Jen Bennett book, but I think I'm going to wait for my friends to let me know whether this one is like worth the buy. The next book is The 10,000 Doors of January, and there's a lot to unload here. A sprawling mansion filled with peculiar treasures, January scours curiosity herself. She feels like she's being kept lock and key by a guy named Mr. Locke. She finds a strange book that carries the scent of other worlds, tale of secret doors. Are you bored? I'm bored. This one was another one where I read the Goodreads reviews and I was like automatically uninterested. When one person said, this is the prettiest prose that they've read all year, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. I just really have an issue with flowery books. I'm very, very picky about my slow moving, flowery picks. and I'm finding I don't really love them. I like character studies or really fascinating plots. Don't really care about the writing so much. Like I don't care if it's flowery, so as in I don't want flowery writing, so this is probably not a book for me, but it doesn't sound interesting, but it might sound interesting to you. Next is Into the Crooked Place, and this is the same author that did To Kill a Kingdom. I was kind of intrigued, but I didn't love her first book, and I also feel like this one feels like Six of Crows, which to me, any book that is described as Six of Crows usually doesn't live up to the Six of Crows hypes, like Gilded Wolves, I think got kind of compared to Six of Crows, and a lot of people were let down. This one says, the streets of Kriege, I think is how you say it, Kriege, are for the deadly and the dreamers. 4 crooks in particular know just how much magic they need up their sleeve to survive. It's not for me. I like the idea of a heist novel, but I just feel like the execution of the ones I've read have not been my favorite, and maybe it's just because I didn't love Six of Crows either. It's like you're comparing books to Six of Crows, and I didn't even love Six of Crows, so maybe I need to give a heist novel a try, and like maybe I'll find my perfect one, but this one, like I said, hesitant, because I just wasn't a huge To Kill a Kingdom fan. I think I ended up DNFing that one at like 60%, so. The next one, that has such a beautiful cover, it's A River of Royal Blood. This one, like, I was instantly drawn to the cover. I like the fact that it's set in North Africa. Like I love that there's gonna be good representation, because I feel like the only African inspired fantasy that I've really heard buzzed about lately is like Kingdom of Souls, I believe, and then, you know, the sequel to Children of One Bone. But the reason I'm not super interested in this particular one is because on the cover are 2 queens, and when I was reading, it seems like it's gonna be about 2 feuding queens. And I think I don't have enough room in my life for more of that. I love the idea that it's going to be different mythology, so I'm sure that's going to be super, super interesting, and I'm, like I said, glad this book exists. But I've already read Furyborn, which has like the 2 queens thing, 3 Dark Crowns, there's just so many, I think. I'm kind of just like put off by royal fantasies, I guess, at the moment. The next 2, I have strong opinions about, because this is just the publishing industry trying to get a rise out of me and other people for money. So I'm talking about Reveal Me by Tahira Mafi and Rebel by Marie Lu. Why do we need to revisit series years later? There's literally no reason for it, especially when it's a completed trilogy. Like we don't need to tack on 6 other books that don't add anything to the story, do nothing for character development except for maybe regressing characters. It's just dumb. And I get why people do it, because it's like, oh, I love that series, it's like nostalgic, whatever, but like, why? It's just for the money. Nothing against the authors, like I you know, get your coin, but I have no interest in reading the continuation. I did read the first 3 in the Shatter Me series, and I did read, I think, the first 2 in the Legend series by Marie Lu, but we don't need to revisit. It's a no for me. The next book that I will not be buying is The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I really don't like Kirsten White's writing, which makes me so sad, and I've given it a try more than once. I tried And I Darken, that's the name of the fucking book that I was trying to think of earlier. And I Darken, Now I Rise, and then is it Bright We Burn? And I Conquer? Something. There's a 3rd book. And I didn't like the first book. I could not get into it. That was the gender bent Vlad the Impaler retelling. I also tried to read her Frankenstein retelling, which is literally this, like it's so tiny. I think it's like 200 pages. Couldn't get into that either. Something about her writing just does not connect with me personally. And it makes me sad because I feel like The Guinevere Deception is something that I could be like super into. If you're gonna do a retelling, do something original. Don't do like a true fairy tale. I don't know, the Arthurian legend, like that's dope. I would love to read a retelling of that, but this, I'm just sad. Like I know that it's just not, it would be a fail for me personally. And that being said, I think I would like to read a book by her that is not a retelling. Like maybe that's the key, is like her coming up with her own inventive world, and I know she like kind of does in her other books, but from my knowledge the only books that she's written have been retellings. I'd be curious to see if she ever does like a contemporary or steps outside of her comfort zone a little bit. I would give it a try, but this one I think I'm gonna have to pass on. The next book that I won't be buying is weird because I liked the first book in the series, and the book I'm talking about is Girl of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Young. I am interested in this book because I enjoyed the first one, but I won't be buying it because I really feel like the first book was such a standalone novel to me. The way that it ended was very hopeful, and I liked that I could kind of guess what was going to happen next, but also it was just open-ended enough. I don't know. I loved the way the first book ended, period. It was just good. And I feel like the continuation is going to be too much for me personally in terms of exploration of trauma, and also in that I don't care about the other parts of the world. I only really cared about the caste system basically in their society, and like living in the headquarters, basically, like, of the king. Headquarters of the king. Living in the castle. Headquarters of the king. I think going outside that world, trying to like drum up a war, like that stuff doesn't excite me as much. Yeah, I really think it could have just stayed one book. This is just one that I don't think that I'm gonna continue with. And then the next book is one that I literally have heard nothing about, but I wanted to have releases through to the end of the year. And this one is called The Genie Key, A Little Mermaid Retelling. I didn't look into the description of this one as much because A Little Mermaid Retelling seems pretty self-explanatory. This one, the cover's pretty, whatever. I'm kind of over the, I know it's not like, I know Disney didn't originate like The Little Mermaid, Cinderella, whatever, but I'm just kind of sick of those retellings. I feel like they've been done a million times. Same with Sleeping Beauty. I feel like now that we have House of Salt and Sorrows, like I don't even need another 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. I don't know. I want more inventive and interesting ideas in the YA community. So like, I think if you're into retelling, so probably enjoyed this one, maybe, but it's just not for me. That is it. Those are all of the books that I am personally not going to be buying, but I am going to tell you guys about 5 books that I am interested in reading and buying. I have arcs, I think, of all of these except for one, and I'm gonna give you a brief reason why I'm gonna buy them. Number 1, The Beautiful, for vampires. Criers' War, for lesbians. Serpent and Dove, for witches. Fireborn, for dragons. Queen of Nothing, for the triumphant return of Carden's Tale. So yeah, those are the books that I'm interested in reading for the fall. Super excited for all of those releases, and I probably will be doing videos of some sort with those releases. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the books that I will personally not be purchasing this fall. I would love to know down in the comments below if there's any releases that are getting a lot of buzz that you personally are not excited about, and then also tell me what books, what releases for the fall you are excited about, and or, I don't know, try to change my mind about the ones that I have told you I'm not going to buy. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's a little bit more chatty. I didn't really script this one like I have in past videos, so that sucked. I guess let me know. But I love you guys so much, and until next time.